Hello and welcome to PAXTON Road TV. This is the PAXTON Road TV preview show for the game Tottenham Hotspur versus Watford tomorrow. Kickoff 2 p.m. And I'm joined in the house by special guests Mike Hotspur Hustler, Darius 3K. I am Sam Spurs for Life. Please, before we start the show, could you, everybody watching, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new as well, and let us get into this. We are going to make this a quick show because we want to see them lot play at 12:30 against Manchester City.
See if they can do what we did.
Oh, they're not going to do what we did. They're not going to do what. I'll tell you what. If they do, it will be a very good result. And I'm looking forward to the game now. But let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Spurs. Okay, guys. So we had a good performance in midweek, or I say midweek, Thursday. I think the biggest question now to ask is, obviously, given the performances of some of the players, Harry Kane being a notable one, Bryan Hill, again, being another notable exception to that performance, and Giovanni Lo Celso. What decisions do you think Nuno needs to make ahead of the game tomorrow? I'll come to you first, Darius.
Part of me doesn't even want to change the lineup. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Yeah. I know that players had a good game, but I preface that by saying it's Paços de Ferreira. I mean, Bryan Hill looks like he's going to be a talent. I think I didn't watch the game. I was obviously at work, but watched the highlights, extended highlights, and Bryan Hill looks fantastic. I mean, people won't sort of gas this up, but for me, the pass into Kane for his assist, the pinpoint and the accuracy of it, it's not like he's just putting a ball in the box and hoping someone gets a head on. He's got his head up and he's looking for Kane. So yeah. I think there's a lot of players that played well that probably deserve to probably get a spot in the team. But for me, it's difficult to drop anybody. I can't remember in our previous game who really deserved to get dropped against Wolves. So for me, I think we should really just start with who we had, and again, at least we've got strong bench to come on, and at least there are players who are sort of everybody's on form who's not even starting. So I guess it's only a positive to say that players played well. But yeah, I would, like you said, just here, I would start the same lineup, consistency. Everyone's played well. Nobody's really played badly. So,
well, I've just put up the lineup for the Wolves game. It was slightly different, obviously, for midweek. We had Lloris in goal. We had Tanganga right back. Sanchez died as centre back. Reguilon as left back. Skip, Højbjerg, Deli was the midfield three. Then we had Moura on the right side, Bergwijn on the left, Son up front, and the central striker, false nine, whatever you want to call it. Very fluid front three. So in essence, who of that would you potentially drop if you were going to drop someone for Harry Kane? That's a tough one. If I'm going by what I've seen recently, if I was going to drop somebody for Kane, the only one I would, and it's a real tough one because it's either going to be Moura or Bergwijn. I think the last game I actually quite liked Bergwijn, the way he played. That bit of skill he did down that right on the left side was phenomenal.
That was ridiculous.
His pace and power looks like it's increased and improved. Moura has slightly dropped off from the beginning of the season. So if I was going to drop somebody, it would probably be him. What's your thoughts, Mark? Who would you take out of that team?
Do you know what? It's difficult. It is tough because it's Kane, isn't it? But I'm going to be bold and I'm going to say I wouldn't change the team at all.
Ooh, that's a good shout. That means Harry Kane starts.
Do you know what
it
does? It does. It means Kane starts on the bench. But it says to those boys that Kane no longer runs the rule over the team. No players big in the team. No players big in the club. And I mean, if you're going to drop anyone, let's say anyone. If anyone had a below par sort of performance last week, you could say it was Moura. I thought Bergwijn played well. The only thing he didn't do really was probably score, but he did play well. Moura was probably a little bit below par, but the thing with Moura that you get more than any of those others on the pitch is his press and the intensity of his press. If there's a team, if you're going to force a team to make a mistake, normally it's going to come from Moura making them make that mistake. So for that and for the energy and the work rate you get out of him, even if he's having a bad game, he still puts 110 in, and he's one of those players who, even if he's playing badly, he you'll still get him pressing well. You'll still get him trying to make the runs, trying to, as I say, close down the opposition. His work rate you can't take out of the team, because I think he probably works harder than a lot of those players in that team in that sense of the press. So do you know what? As much as obviously Harry Kane's, he's a massive player. I don't think I'll change that team. I honestly don't. I think the fact that those boys in the Premier League haven't conceded a goal, I just don't think you can change it. I'm sorry, Harry Kane, if you listen to this, Harry. Sorry, mate, but I'd put you on the bench.
And then that's a good point. I'll come to you, Darius, next. I think that's a good point. You don't usually change winning teams unless there's injuries, because it's the confidence of the players that are playing. Now, these players haven't done anything wrong. I would say the performance against Wolves, we did lack as much bite as we did against City, but that was away from home. We're back at home again now against Watford. That's going to make a difference. Crowds up for it. You know, Watford just back into the Prem. I can see playing the same team. Darius, what's your thoughts? Because you're probably going to do a prediction lineup a bit later on today. Who would you put?
Yeah, the main.
But don't too many, because we want to keep some bit of secret.
We'll keep the special talk for the show. But just in general, I just think the most difficult thing about it is Harry Kane, and that's not a bad thing on Harry Kane or anybody. I just think it's almost a good thing at the end of the day. Everybody's playing so well. It's like you do want to have Kane in that 11 because it's Harry Kane. He scored 2 goals, on Thursday, as Sid said in the comments, and I just think that it's at the end of the day, it is Harry Kane. He's Harry Kane for a reason. He scores goals when he wants, and he will bring something drastically different to the team. However, it is going to be very hard for anybody, even Lucas, to be dropped. And I think it's how Nuno explains sort of the situation. And I think he's a good enough manager and coach to sort of explain to Mora, who's in his, approaching 30, late 20s, you can say to him, look, you've played fantastic, but we've got loads of games to play. You might get on later on in the game. But I just think, is it easier to sort of start Harry Kane and sort of finish the game off and then start bringing on players, or do you go as it is and then bring on players in case, because you never know, you might be losing. We can't guarantee a win. We can't guarantee that we're going to win. So we might be chasing the game. So we might need to bring on players and bringing off players to then bring them. Well, you can't bring them back on. Do you see where I'm trying to come from?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the realism of football. I think we all live sometimes, I'm not saying us, but in general, we've got this fantasy thing where we can just sell players, we can bring this player in, do this. When you're actually playing the game, and Mark, you'll know this, Darius, you'll know this, I definitely know this from coaching and management perspective, to drop someone from a winning team just to bring someone else back in, it's always going to be tough on that player. It's even tough on some of the players around, because they feel, we haven't done anything wrong. We've played really well. We've got 2 wins out of 2. Do you know what I'm saying? And then Harry Kane's back. I know he's our best player. And it's like saying, if Ronaldo's fit or Messi's fit, you don't want to. Of course you are. But the way that we've kind of started, it's the togetherness. It's like that real togetherness. And we've seen what's happened previously when Kane's been brought back in just after injuries and play. We know that. So, again, I just feel that it might be a little bit... maybe the next game after this, but just for this one, I think just start with this guys, and then maybe start to transition him back in again. Any thoughts on that? What would you say if you was a manager?
That's what I would do. 100%. I think bringing Kane in, as much as it's tempting, and obviously there's the reasons to bring him in is obviously it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Why you would bring him in, but for the harmony of the squad and the fact that we didn't think he was even going to be here come the 1st of September, I just think it could do more damage than good. Just bringing Harry Kane in, and I mean, when you look at the fitness of the player, like the front three there, the fitness levels, I still question: is Harry Kane as fit as the front three at the moment? Is he as sharp? It's questionable.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point. That's a good point about match sharpness.
Yeah, and so I think Kane himself needs to realise that the squad. There's a new manager in town. You can see what he's already done with the squad. I think Harry Kane it'd probably do the world of good for Harry Kane to realise that he isn't untouchable, and occasionally he is going to find himself on the bench. I mean, it's only the first part of the season, isn't it? It's just the third game in terms of Premier League. So I think Kane. I think if Kane was benched, I think he'd understand. I think he'd be like, yeah, you can't change a winning team. And if he was a true vice captain, he'd be like, well,
it's true.
What matters is the team, not me. So the fact the team are winning, they haven't conceded a goal. How can you actually bring me into the team?
It's very, very true.
Do you know, that's where I'm coming from. And I mean, as I say, there's no reason why Harry Kane can't come on in the 60th, like on the hour mark. Bring Kane on, introduce him. Or if we're chasing the game, bring him on earlier. Do you know what I mean? You just got to manage it properly. And I think Nuno's been doing that, to be fair. Yeah. And I think Spurs have coped without Kane. And I don't see we're at home at the end of the day. It might have been if we're at Vicarage Road on a smaller. It is a smaller pitch at Vicarage Road. It would be a bit more compact. You might be like. We might put in Kane here just because he isn't going to be having to run all over the pitch on our big home pitch. So, yeah, I'm going with keep the same team.
I know. And I'm just going through some of the things in the chat. A lot of people are here. We've got David watching, David Briscoe. Thank you for watching, David. Wayne Bonner as well. Chris, Jason goes, they're all sort of the opinion Kane's got to start. And I can understand it. Don't get me wrong. I'm fully understanding as to why, and maybe it just depends on the team. If we were playing somebody like, I don't know, a Liverpool or Manchester City, then I think you'd have to probably play him. But it's, again, no disrespect, and I hate to say this, but it's Watford at the end of the day. They've just come up into the Premiership, and we're at home. There is no better opportunity to see how these 11 that have been playing the last couple of games, see how they do. If you can then spot maybe that Moore is still not quite up to speed as he wasn't in the last game, then bring Harry Kane on. So it's definitely options there. I'm going to come back to you in a minute, Dad. So I want to play when there was a clip that was played in the press conference with Nuno when asked about our top 4 chances. And again, Nuno's been brilliant. He's very cryptic. He don't really just come out and say this, that. He's got this cryptic message, and he I don't even know what he meant. But let's hear what he said when asked about it.
I think we are working well. We started the season with an idea of trying to, first of all, build a squad that is competitive. And I think we are achieving that. Like I said, the players that are coming are settling down. Many things that happen, it's the past. Now we move forward, and we will continue this way. Our natural expectation is to improve game by game, and that starts on a daily process. So prepare yourself, train well, and compete.
So he was asking.
I love it. He didn't even answer the question. He didn't even gloss over the question
about our top 4 chances, and that was his answer. He never even answered the question. He just went over and around and through and underneath. And
he definitely just checked his phone and saw Ronaldo to United. Here we go. Yeah, not happening anymore.
It's a politician's answer, isn't it?
Very much so. So Darius, in terms of that answer, if you was asked the same question, how would you answer it? What do you think?
The exact same way.
Exactly.
The exact same way. Honestly, sorry to interrupt, but honestly, like, I think you'd be an idiot to say, yeah, Spurs can get in the top 4 this season, given that the teams who are going to be competing for that top 4 and the title have all upgraded significantly, and their squads are way better than us. Let's not lie to ourselves. I believe we are building a very, very decent squad, a very, very good squad, in fact. But those guys have squads for now. When you bring Ronaldo into a team that's surrounded by Rashford, Pogba, Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, all these players, for me, there's no competition. I don't really see how we can get top 4 now. And I literally said, I tweeted like 2 weeks ago when Kane officially said that he's staying, I tweeted saying top 4's on. But I just think that Ronaldo transfer makes a massive difference. I think City are going to obviously be fine. Liverpool, I think, for Liverpool's standards, last season, I think they're going to go kind of under the radar and do really, really well this season, just because, like we mentioned, Anfield plus Van Dijk, that's going to improve your team. And then Chelsea, I think Chelsea are going to win the league this season. So I just don't see how we're going to get top 4. I think he answered that perfectly. It's just, if there's an opportunity and we are pushing later on in the season, somehow, some way, I do want us to sort of believe that we can do it and not sort of play the little dog game anymore. Because I do believe that the players that we've got any of those top 4 teams would take 2 of our front 3 right now in Kane and Son. Any of those top 4 teams would take them. So in terms of,
you know what, I think there's a couple more players that they potentially.
There's a COYS as well. I think there's like you said, there's a few more players in that team that I think all top 4, all teams in the league would take. It's just how we are going to set up to beat the teams around us, and then how Nuno is going to set up to sort of beat the teams below us. Because these games like Watford, all due respect to Watford, you sort of have to win these games if you want to be even thinking about getting near there. The teams that the way that we're going to sort of achieve a higher position is beating the teams around us, our rival teams, the Leicesters, Arsenal's, all the teams above us. So these games, as much as they're just as competitive, if you even got any chance of getting in the top 4, you have to win these games regardless.
I think our issue though was beating teams that were below us.
That's my thing. So this is where we can improve. And I think Nuno also has a great record for Wolves, had a great record against the top 6. He was I hated playing Wolves when Nuno was in charge at Spurs, because it was always a difficult game. And then I think back to the 2-0 against Man City, where Adama scored 2 goals. So I just think Nuno has a plan, and that's the main thing. He has an idea and a plan against most of the teams, and I liken that to Thomas Tuchel, where he's not going to go with the same method, same style every week. He's going to adjust his tactics to the team that he's playing against. So with that sort of mentality, and then added that to the quality of the team that we've got now, keeping Harry Kane, we should be pushing, in my opinion. We should be pushing. But I will never, ever say, top 4 is now a thing, because it's just too many good teams around us, too many good teams above us, should I say.
And you never know who we might... there might be other players that we might bring in. So
I think there'll be 2 more. I just don't think they're going to be... I don't think they're going to be like a Sancho and Varane or a Ronaldo like that. I think it'll be players who will impact the team now, but will impact the team better in maybe say 3-4 years time.
You've always got to take into consideration when you bring in a player, it's that settling period. Now we've brought in some really good players, but again, Romero looks like he's going to be a really good player. But he
played well on Thursday as well. I have to admit, he stood out for me on Thursday.
He'll stood out for me. Go on, Mike. Sorry.
Romero, if Dyer and Sanchez are playing well, which they are, then just let him continue, and then that just takes the pressure off Romero. Just gradually ease him in. There's no pressure on him to be like, right, you've got to go in, you've got to do a job. We paid 50 million for you. No messing about. You're in the team. You're being thrown in the deep end. You've got no option but to perform. Whereas if Dyer and Sanchez continue to progress the way they have been as individuals and as a centre-back partnership, then let him crack on and just see where it goes. I mean, if it does go bad in, say, 3-4 games' time, then Romero will hopefully have had more minutes under his belt, more experience, and he can come in and hit the ground running.
What it will do for the players playing, Sanchez and Dyer, it will keep them, as they say, as a phrase, on their toes. Because they know the moment they make significant mistakes continuously, one of them is going to be out. It looks as if the potential partnership of Dyer and Romero was working quite well, and I could see Dyer. He's more intense now. He's guarding he's bringing the line up. He's getting the players
probably less defensive work to do, isn't it? He's sort of delegating that to his partner, and also he's not just in general sort of under a Nuno system, not taking as many, not facing as many shots as Jose. So I just think all those things are making our players look better, maybe look better than they are, but then at the same time, maybe Jose made them look way, way worse, and we sort of slandered them for a tactic-based reason that we're not doing well. So both sides of the story, to be fair.
And you can hear Dyer, he's shouting at the fair, he's calling the line. I don't know if you heard him.
I heard
him quite a few times. He's calling that line, get out. You can hear it. I think I heard him certainly say a few times out, and then I thought 18-yard box or something along those at one point.
So you can see he's like one of the things. That's one of the things I said. You've got marks on the pitch. You've got the 6-yard box, 18-yard box, penalty spot. These are the things you use. And when you hear that, it makes you think the game's quite simple when you do it. But that's being, as Darryl said, that's being coached. So I never saw that last season. And the defensive line was all out of shape. This is the reason why I think Dyer Romero is probably going to be more of a combination because of that leadership of Dyer than Romero and Sanchez. Sanchez really good, but I think he needs someone really good around him as well.
And don't forget, Rodon's still injured to come back as well. So if we've got 4 centre backs who, and don't get me wrong, I thought Rodon had a great Euros. I really thought he was going to make his mark in this team. I didn't think that Sanchez and Dyer were going to start off so well. So if you've got 4 centre backs who are all playing decent, can't complain, guys. At the end of the day, you just have to let them do their thing. And a lot of people, like a lot of people have said, there's an inevitable mistake in one of them too. I hope there's not. Hopefully they've changed, but you probably might see a mistake from one of those two. So at least
Let's get on to tomorrow. This is the last 5 matches, just for those who are maybe listening and not watching. Last 5 matches against Watford. Back in 2018, April, Tottenham 2, Watford 0. September 2018, Watford 2, Spurs 1. January 2019, Tottenham 2, Watford 1. October 2019, Tottenham 1, Watford 1. And as recently as January this year, Watford 0, Spurs 0.
I can't remember any of those games. I really can't.
And me either. I suppose can't remember that 0-0. But we've got a decent record. We've won 2 and drawn 1 at home against them. So what are you expecting, I guess, first thing tomorrow, Mike, is in terms of the tactical approach to the game, are you looking for us to go out all out attack, or is it going to be a very similar cagey sort of game? What are you expecting to see from the team tomorrow against Watford?
I think we'll be dominant. I'm expecting a dominant performance. Watford. Yeah, I think Watford are there for the taking. I know they've brought in a few players. I know Sissoko's
just signed. I was going to say, just signed 2 of our players, really.
Yeah, Danny Rose is expected to play, isn't he? But I don't think Sissoko didn't make that deadline, so he won't be there. But I mean, as long as you keep what's his name, the Watford player, quiet, Sarr. As long as you keep him quiet,
very good player.
Then where's their outlet going to come from? There isn't anyone who's going to be able to dictate the play for Watford. So I think if you keep Sarr quiet, I think you've just got to take your chances.
And it'll be Sarr versus Reguilon. I remember watching. Sorry to interrupt. I remember watching. I can't remember who they played. Villa, and their left back, who his name's gone completely out of my head now. He struggled against Sarr, and the reason he struggled was because of Sarr's pace. And I just think that if Reguilon is going to be able to, if anyone's going to be able to handle Sarr's pace, it's Reguilon. So I hopefully, like I said, I think I would take Sarr at Tottenham. I think Sarr's absolutely fantastic, but hopefully that will be their main issue. And if we can sort of stifle that, then I don't see how they can threaten us.
Put it this way: if we can stifle Traore, Booker T in disguise, then we can stifle anybody, because he's probably the one player that of anybody in the Premier League, he gives any team a problem.
Yeah, I was going to say almost undefendable, isn't it?
Undefendable in terms of 1v1s. His strength, his power, his pace. So if we can deal with that, I can sure we can deal with Sarr. Not to say he's not a good player. Of course he's a good player. But I want to see us on the front foot. I want to see us dominant. I want to see us very much like the City performance. I don't want to see the Wolves performance, because that was away from home. So that's it into consideration. But what I do want to see is more of the on the front foot, pressing high, pressing really quickly, getting into them transitions, getting the ball forward into those players like Bergwijn, Son, more if they start, and just really going for the goal, going for that jugular early doors, getting a couple of goals early. That's going to really make Watford struggle, because their approach is probably going to be one of defensive counterattack. I don't know, but I'm assuming that. Go on, Mike.
No, I was just going to. All I was going to just say is if you cut off the feed to Sarr, then what's the winger? What's he going to do? He's not going to be able to influence the game if he hasn't got the ball. So if you cut that feed to him,
what if Uncle Sissoko plays? Them threaded balls.
No,
Uncle Sissoko is going to play it.
Like Mike said, thankfully he can't. I was going to say, if Sissoko started, you 100% see a top bins right corner strike.
You know what you would do if Sissoko played tomorrow? He would do what he did against us when he played for Newcastle. That
final game of the season? Oh yeah,
that final game when he ran right, and I thought he
looked like Moussa Dembele, didn't he?
He was the best player I've seen in the world football at that time, and he came to Spurs. And after that, it was all downhill. He had a bit of a renaissance, but like I said, he never played like that ever again for Spurs. That he played for Newcastle. Anyway, that's that point. There's some good chats coming through on the comments. So thank you all for watching. Please, if you're watching live now, like, hit that like button for us and subscribe if you're new as well. Gentlemen, let's get into the final part of the show today. As always, the champion of the moment, that's me.
Yeah, you're 2 for 2, aren't you?
I'm free for free, because I'm going to go 3-1, because I said 3-1, but they said because it was 3-1 in aggregate, I can't really take it. So I'm not going to take it.
You're not having that. You can have 0.5. You can have 0.5. I'll give you 0.5.
No, I can't take that one. I can't take that one. So
that would have been a bit out of order.
I'm going to try. I'm really going to try, because I'm thinking, yeah, that's great. But anyway, Hotspur Hustler. What's your thoughts? Score prediction for tomorrow?
I'm going 2-0.
Oh, strong and quick like that. 2-0.
Obviously,
No
it's
messing
Tottenham.
about. No messing about at all. Any goal scorers in there?
I'm going to go Son, and it depends on who he's. If he plays Kane, Kane will score. But if he doesn't, and he goes with the team that I think he should start with, I'm going to go with Son and Ali.
Ooh, Son Ali. I'm going to put that down as well. It's 2-0. 3K. What?
Oh, I'm just thinking about what I predicted for my good friend Kieran. Let's Talk Spurs. I remember now. I'm gonna go 3-0. I think I said 3-0. I'm gonna go 3-0, and I'm gonna stick with it only because, and I do believe Kane's gonna start. By the way, I think Kane will start. I don't see how Kane doesn't start, especially after scoring 2 goals. I think 3-0 home. I think we've won 1-0 twice. I think there's still a lot of people that are gonna be like Nuno ball, this, that. People maybe haven't watched the full games. Going to think, yeah, he's only scraping 1-0s. In my opinion, the first game is Man City. I don't care how we win. The second game, a win's a win, in my opinion. And the Wolves away is a very, very difficult game to go to. So now you've got fresh, well, not relegation, but fresh team from the Championship, just come up, promoted. You're at home, full crowd. I think that Tottenham Stadium is absolutely insane at the moment. I think the fans are unbelievable. Like, honestly, like big credit to the Matchday fans, because they've been insane for the past 2 home games. So if they can continue that all season, we might have a bit like White Hart Lane last year, where we literally went unbeaten. I think we win every game, or we definitely went unbeaten at home. So if we can sort of create a fortress like that, home games are going to be a difficult journey for anyone. So I'm going to go 3-0. I want to see us really dominate this game and sort of put a marker down and say, look, we've got Kane, Son's here. We actually mean business. Who cares about Ronaldo? We mean business. We mean business.
I hate going last on this bloody prediction thing, because both them scorelines were ones that I was looking at, and I always think, there's an opportunity that I can't now. I can't go 2-0. I can't go. Well, I can. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go 2-0 because I reckon 2-0 is the scoreline I'm liking. The reason I'm saying that is because I think players are now going to have to play. They all know, depending on whether Kane starts or not, everybody's now under a little bit more pressure for their
That's
players.
so good, though, isn't it?
And that's the best thing. The defenders are under pressure for their plays because Romero is in and out. You know, whoever plays right back, Yaphet Tanganga is likely to start. If we get to the end of the transfer window and Aurier is still there, I think he'll probably come back into the fold. I think maybe a couple of these players are not being played until they know what their futures are going to be, and then they'll be back in the fold. And obviously up front, we've got Bergwijn, Son, and Mora, who are now under pressure from Kane, Hill, and whoever else is going to be potentially playing up front as well. Sessegnon potentially could be in there. So there's more competition for places. So for that reason, I'm going to go 2-0, and I'm going to go with the Son. I'm not going to go Valley. I'm going to go with a Stevie B goal. I just think he needs one.
You know what? That's such a good shout. I think he really, of all the players I want to score and deserves to score, and I hate that cliche saying of he needs a goal or he just needs to get a goal. He really just needs to get a goal.
He just needs to get a goal.
You'll see, you probably, maybe not floodgates, but I think you'll probably see him have a really, really good season. Because at PSV, he was a pretty good finisher. I can't lie to you. He sort of, his trademark technique was cutting from the left and sort of where the goal is, you know, instead of curling it, you sort of go near post and trick the keeper into sort of like thinking that you're going to go far, but he always used to shoot near post. And if he can do that, where he cuts in from the left and a low drive into that near post, I'm telling you now, Stevie B could have a great season. So Sam, spot on. I need Stevie B to score.
I really want him to score because I think, again, as you just mentioned, Darius, I think that will take his game to another level. You can see the fitness. He looks like he's about a stone lighter than he was yesterday. He was carrying a few extra pounds.
I was going to say mini Traore when he came here.
He does look like he's fitter, much quicker, much sharper, and like I said, I think he's got insane skills, and that pace that is always going to be
surprising, isn't it?
Very, very surprising. So again, we've all gone. I'll go through the scores again. Hotspur has to 2-0. Darius 3K 3-0. San Spurs for life 2-0, and Son Ali for Hotspur. Son and Stevie B. You didn't mention your scorers.
Sunbrace, no, not Sunbrace. Son 1, Stevie B 1, and if Kane comes off the bench, he'll score, and if he doesn't come off the bench, he'll still score anyway. So Kane.
So we've got some consistent scorers. Right then, to the viewers that are watching, welcome. I say welcome. Thank you for watching. David Briscoe. Thank you, Sean Hurl, Anthony Gray, Eddie Ryan, Derek Hutchison in the house. Lockman, we know he was here and you had to go. Jason Graves, thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Please, again, hit that like button if you can for us. Just a couple more things. Whilst we are here, we have this coming up. It is our FTB Sports, our sister channel, transfer deadline day on Tuesday, 5 p.m. till 12. I think a few of us may be on that, but there's certainly going to be a lot of fun, a lot of stuff potentially going on, although a lot of the big deals have actually happened. We've still got potentially Mbappe and hopefully Spurs to do some business, which might be deadline day as well. The other thing to look out for, possibly for later on today, the lineup with Darius 3K. Is he going to put together certain people in this team? It's going to be his predicted lineup, and hopefully
it's going to be no Sissoko, guys. No Sissoko. That's all I can say. That's I can confirm. No
Sissoko in that. Okay, so I think we've reached the end. We are now 7 minutes just after the kickoff for them lot playing Man City. Any scores so far? Anybody got anything?
I'm going to check for you right now. I think it's still 0-0.
It's still 0-0. Okay, well, let's get off to watch that game. Mike, Darius, thank you very much for joining today. Look forward to the reaction show tomorrow, and thank you.
You might not see me on that. You might not see me on that, unfortunately. But like I said, you'll see me on the lineup in hopefully a couple hours' time. So
no worries with that at all. Guys, take care. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.